heart of Asia, surrounded by majestic volcanoes and the vast Pacific Ocean, lies Japan, probably the most exotic and fascinating country on the planet. A nation where there are such controversial realities as the sale of used underwear, restaurants where sushi is served on unclothed bodies, places where you can rent a boyfriend or girlfriend, or mixed baths called onsen where people enjoy relaxation with little or no clothes. Experiences that perhaps have a lot to do with the existence here of a mysterious island, which has the highest concentration of people over 100 years old in the world. A country where futuristic robots and people in manga costumes join geishas and legendary samurai, and where the most imposing skyscrapers resistant to the worst earthquakes are accompanied by temples and millenary mysteries. Mysteries such as the belief in giant fish that cause earthquakes in the most geologically dangerous country on Earth, or the most potentially lethal food, a succulent fish called fugu, which we will discuss in more detail in this video to discover how to enjoy it without losing your life. A country with an extreme duality, where love hotels used for intimate encounters coexist with the oldest hotel in the world. With crazy parties where sumo wrestlers try to make a baby cry, or others where thousands of women try to touch scantily clad men to attract fertility. A place with surprising curiosities such as having a train that travels distances levitating at more than 600 kilometers per hour. It is considered the fastest in the world, being able to observe many young people acting and dressing as if they were characters in a video game. Being considered repulsive to blow one's nose, or containing the most populated city on Earth and the busiest crossing, with more than 3,000 people crossing this pass every 47 seconds. Pay attention and do not miss this new video of Uncensored World. Soon you will travel around Japan, discovering its curiosities while you know the most iconic and beautiful places, such as the majestic Mount Fuji, the most vibrant and eccentric capital of the world, or the beauty of legendary cities like Kyoto. Let's get started. Surely there are few places as beautiful, mysterious, and authentic as Japan. A country where, as you will see, its cities are formed by streets that look like labyrinths, with millenary stories to discover behind every corner, and where the exotic aroma of spices floats in the air together with neon lights, legends, traditions, and people that fill it with life. In this journey through Japan, we will discover its main wonders, customs, places, and curiosities, while at the same time we will delve into the best way to move and behave in order to get the most out of this enigmatic country. At the eastern end of Asia, surrounded by the vast Pacific Ocean, lies Japan, an impressive archipelago of more than 6,000 islands. Although most of the population is concentrated on 4 main islands, Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, the country as a whole has a unique and diverse geography, with towering mountains, rugged coastlines, and arable land stretching across breathtaking landscapes. Despite its relatively small size, Japan is a giant in terms of culture, technology, and resilience. Japan's past is deeply rooted in the history of its samurai, its emperors, and its honor-based value system. For centuries, Japan was under the control of powerful samurai families, who ruled the country under strict codes of honor, known as Bushido. These legendary warriors defended their emperors and the country with unwavering loyalty. The country has been ruled by various shogun dynasties for millennia. To this day, Japan remains the only country with an imperial dynasty, with Emperor Naruhito as the current monarch, a direct descendant of a line that stretches back more than 2,000 years. Japan's fascinating past is reflected today in the country's cities and temples. Places like Kyoto, the former imperial capital, retain their temples, palaces, and gardens, which are a testament to the splendor of the imperial era and the principles that guided the samurai. Kyoto is home to numerous Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines that have been preserved as living symbols of Japanese spirituality and tradition. In the streets of Kyoto, visitors can feel the echo of a time gone by, while the ancient buildings contrast with the modernity that characterizes other cities in the country, such as the most populous capital of the planet. or the bullet train and other means that will help you discover this incredible country, which you will soon get to know in more detail. The past and legend are so closely linked to Japan that when walking through many of its cities you can find vestiges of the past, from Buddhist and Shinto temples to the ancient houses of the samurai, which today are museums that tell the story of Japan's warrior nobility. With a population of over 125 million people, Japan faces an extremely high population density, especially in large cities like Tokyo, Osaka, and Yokohama, where millions of people live crammed into small spaces. You will probably be surprised to learn that Tokyo, the capital, is not only the largest city in Japan, but also the most populous city in the world, with a population of over 38 million people in its metropolitan area. Tokyo has been one of the world's largest cities since the early 18th century, when it surpassed 1 million inhabitants. Its current name, by the way, means capital of the East. Curiously, no law explicitly recognizes Tokyo as the capital, and some even consider that the capital is still Kyoto, which was officially so until 1868, and whose name means capital city. This reality of the huge population can be seen not only in the vibrant life of the Japanese capital, but also in crossings such as Shibuya, the busiest crossing on the planet, a place you should know if you travel to this country, to observe how more than 3,000 pedestrians cross this crossing in 47 seconds on average. That is why Shinjuku train station in Tokyo is also the busiest transportation hub in the world. Some 3.64 million people use it every day. This phenomenon of high urban concentration has shaped daily life in Japan, influencing its advanced infrastructure and the incredible efficiency of its transportation systems and services, such as the Shinkansen bullet train, until recently the fastest train in the world, and the winner in the ranking, a levitating train that travels distances of over 600 kilometers per hour. As you will discover on this trip, Japan is possibly one of the most extraordinary countries on the planet, a place with unique curiosities in which the duality between futuristic realities and ancient mysteries and legends come together and have much to do both in the lives of its people, as well as in its controversial and fascinating traditions. For those who wish to explore Japan efficiently and enjoy the beauty of the country, the Japan Rail Pass is the best option. This pass offers unlimited travel on JR trains for 7, 14, or 21 consecutive days. The price of the pass for 7 days is approximately $330. For 14 days, it is approximately $529, and for 21 days, it is about $661. With the JR Pass, you can travel on almost all JR trains, including bullet trains, but not on the world's fastest prototype, known as the linear Chuo Shinkansen, which you will now meet, a train that levitates and exceeds speeds as astounding as 600 kilometers per hour. Before getting to know these amazing realities, it is good to know that in any trip around Japan that lasts more than a week, the Japan Rail Pass is undoubtedly the most convenient and economical way for those who wish to travel around this country and enjoy its incredible landscapes and curiosities. This pass allows you to access the best of the country quickly and comfortably, giving you the opportunity to immerse yourself in a unique travel experience. Now you will learn more details about the bullet train and its successor in the position of the fastest train on the planet. The Shinkansen is the jewel of the Japanese railway system. Known worldwide as the bullet train, it can reach speeds of over 320 kilometers per hour, connecting Japan's major cities such as Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto in reduced times. This system has been key to efficient mobility in Japan and is the best way to travel around the country and discover some of the most impressive places and curious realities on the planet. Currently, the fastest train in the world is the Shanghai Maglev, which reaches speeds of up to 430 kilometers per hour. This train, which uses magnetic levitation technology, eliminates friction between the wheels and the tracks, allowing it to reach impressive speeds. The Shanghai Maglev connects Pudong International Airport with Longyang Road Station in just 7 minutes, making it one of the world's most remarkable technological marvels. For decades, the bullet train was the fastest train on the planet, and very soon, Japan will once again hold this title, as it is developing the linear Chuo Shinkansen, a maglev train that is expected to be the fastest in the world once operational. This magnetic levitation train will be able to reach speeds of up to 600 kilometers per hour, surpassing the Shanghai Maglev by 170 kilometers per hour. The linear Chuo Shinkansen will connect Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka in just 1.5 hours, a feat that will transform the way we move around this enigmatic country. Japan's geography is as impressive as its people. The country is made up of more than 6,000 islands, stretching over some 3,000 kilometers, giving it great climatic and ecological diversity. Japan is located in the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for its intense seismic and volcanic activity. This geographical location is the reason why Japan is considered one of the most geologically dangerous countries on the planet. With a history marked by powerful earthquakes and tsunamis, the nation has witnessed devastating natural disasters, such as the Kobe earthquake in 1995, or the more recent Fukushima disaster in 2011, where a tsunami devastated the east coast of the country after a magnitude 9 earthquake, one of the most powerful in recorded history. This constant threat of extreme geological phenomena has forced Japan to be one of the most prepared countries in the world to face such adversities. The advanced engineering of its buildings and the implementation of early warning systems for earthquakes and tsunamis have saved countless lives. That is why, although it is considered one of the most geologically dangerous places in the world, it is also one of the safest because it has a state-of-the-art seismic infrastructure system, which allows its structures to withstand the most powerful earthquakes on Earth. In addition, the constant education of the population on how to act in case of emergency and the government's preparedness for immediate response to natural disasters have been crucial to mitigate the damage caused by these catastrophic events. These disasters in Japan's history and culture have given rise to surprising and disturbing myths and legends. One of the most famous is that of Godzilla, the giant monster that emerged from the sea as a result of the nuclear tests, a symbol of the fears and post-war realities that this country suffered with the disaster of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Because of these realities, Godzilla has become a global icon, not only representing the fear of nuclear destruction, but also Japan's ability to reinvent itself and face challenges, even the most destructive ones. Returning to earthquakes, there is also a legend related to giant catfish, mythological beings that are said to inhabit the depths of the ocean and are associated with these catastrophic events. In Japanese folklore, these giant catfish, known as namazu, are responsible for causing seismic movements. It is believed that the movements of these colossal fish can trigger earthquakes when they are in agitation, which partly explains the linking of natural disasters with supernatural forces in Japanese popular culture. These legends about catfish and earthquakes reflect the deep relationship Japan has with its geological environment. Since ancient times, the Japanese have sought to understand and make sense of disasters, looking for explanations beyond the physical. Belief in mythological beings such as the namazu is a way of connecting with nature and with the unseen forces that seem to rule the world. Despite modernization and scientific advances, these legends remain an important part of Japan's cultural identity, a reminder of its connection to mystery and nature. These age-old legends can be reflected today in more modern realities, such as the phenomenon of cosplay, which is an essential part of Japanese pop culture. The term cosplay comes from the combination of the English words costume and play, and consists of dressing up and acting as characters from manga, anime, video games, and movies. In Tokyo, one of the best places to observe this practice is the Akihabara neighborhood, known as the Mecca of anime and technology. There, on weekends, it is common to see people dressed up as their favorite characters, participating in events or simply strolling the streets. This phenomenon is not limited to young people, but also attracts adults who find in cosplay a form of artistic expression and an escape from the daily routine. Another curious phenomenon is that of the maid cafes, also in Akihabara, where waitresses dress in costumes inspired by anime characters and treat customers as if they were masters or princesses. These cafes reflect not only a fascination with manga aesthetics, but also a desire to recreate an idealized, fantastical world. For many visitors, going to a maid cafe is an immersive experience that allows them to disconnect from reality and enter the imaginary of their favorite series and games. In places like Harajuku, another Tokyo neighborhood, you can find a wide variety of manga-inspired styles and trends, from Lolita fashion to more extravagant styles of vibrant colors and flashy accessories. But surely, for many Japanese, these new forms of expression are much more outlandish and bizarre than the reality of geisha, iconic figures that have existed in Japan for centuries and still retain an air of mystery and fascination. Although in the popular imagination they are mistakenly associated with simple escorts, geisha are actually highly trained artists in various traditional disciplines such as music, dance, poetry, and tea ceremony. Their main purpose is to provide refined entertainment and preserve the most classical Japanese culture. Geisha can be found mainly in the Hanamachi, or flower districts, Gion, in the legendary city of Kyoto, being the most famous of all. Here, cobblestone streets and traditional tea houses known as ochaya transport visitors to another era. In Gion, it is possible to see maiko, as geisha apprentices are known, walking the streets with their elaborate kimonos, ornate hairstyles, and faces made up in white. There are also other traditional districts such as Pontocho and Miyagawacho, where geisha are still part of the cultural landscape, keeping alive traditions that have been passed down from generation to generation. One of the most curious aspects of the geisha is their rigorous training process. Maiko begin their apprenticeship at an early age, spending years perfecting skills such as playing the shamisen, stringed instrument, reciting poems, and performing traditional dances. During this time, they also learn the codes of etiquette and behavior that make them experts in conversation and the art of hospitality. Today, although geisha have declined in numbers, their cultural legacy is still very important in Japan. It is not uncommon to see events and festivals where geisha actively participate, such as the famous Miyako Odori, a dance performance held every spring in Kyoto. Going into the detail of the festivities, you will surely be surprised to learn about two of the most striking and controversial of this enigmatic country: the Crying Baby Party and the Festival of Men Without Clothes. These celebrations, deeply rooted in local traditions, reflect the curious and often incomprehensible side of a culture that combines spirituality, superstition, and symbolism in surprising ways. Hadaka Matsuri, also known as the Naked Men Festival, is one of Japan's most unusual festivities. It is celebrated in different locations, but the most famous takes place every February in Okayama, at the Saidaiji Kannon-in Temple. At this festival, thousands of men, dressed only in a traditional loincloth called fundoshi, participate in a ritual that combines elements of purification, fertility, and good luck. Although it may seem shocking to Western eyes, nudity in this context has no intimate connotation, but a spiritual one. It is believed that stripping off clothes symbolizes a form of purity, and that touching a man practically without clothes attracts prosperity and divine protection. That is why during these festivities the scenes are spectacular and disturbing. A mass of half-naked bodies under freezing temperatures, while thousands of people try to touch their bodies with the intention of attracting the best luck. But surely in Japan, there is a festival more amazing than this one, and that is possibly the Nakizumo Matsuri, popularly known as the Crying Baby Festival, a tradition that may be shocking to many foreigners. This festival is held at various temples in Japan, but the best known takes place at Sensoji Shrine in Tokyo every April. At this event, Sumo wrestlers hold babies in traditional costumes and compete to make them cry. Although at first glance it may seem cruel, in Japanese culture it is believed that a baby's crying scares away evil spirits and ensures its health and well-being. The competition follows very curious rules. Wrestlers try to provoke babies to cry by making funny faces, shouting, and making exaggerated gestures. In some versions of the festival, temple priests even put on demon masks to scare the little ones. The winner is the baby who cries first or loudest, as it is believed that the louder the cry, the more spiritual protection that child will receive. This practice has its roots in an ancestral belief that associates crying with the expulsion of negative energies and the strengthening of the newborn's soul. Although the festival may seem controversial from a Western perspective, in Japan it is perceived as an act of love and protection for children. Families consider it an honor for their children to participate, as it symbolizes a good omen for the baby's future. These realities may seem controversial, but throughout the video you will learn about even more surprising realities, such as restaurants where sushi is eaten on unclothed bodies, themed hotels for intimate encounters, or the burusera phenomenon, which consists of selling used underwear. Before discovering the most controversial realities of Japan, we will know some of its most striking curiosities, such as the oldest hotel in the world, the mythical onsen, mixed spas where Japanese and foreign tourists bathe without any clothes, and we will also discover the puffer fish and how to enjoy what is considered the most potentially lethal food on the planet without risking your life. As you have seen throughout the video, in Japan, the ancient and the modern coexist in surprising ways, something that has a lot to do with the fact that the Nishiyama Onsen Keiyunkan Hotel, recognized by the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest hotel in the world, is located here. This establishment was founded in the year 705, so it has been offering lodging to travelers for more than 1,300 years. This historic hotel is located in Yamanashi Prefecture and has been managed by the same family for more than 50 generations. The Nishiyama Onsen Keiyunkan is also famous for its hot springs, which come directly from natural sources and are believed to have healing properties. Over the centuries, it has welcomed emperors, samurai, and poets, becoming a symbol of the calm and serenity that characterizes Japanese culture. Staying at this hotel is like taking a trip back in time, surrounded by mountainous landscapes and enjoying a unique experience of connection with nature. Thinking of hot springs, a trip to Japan would be incomplete without enjoying its mythical onsen, or Japanese thermal baths. These natural spas, fed by volcanic waters, are scattered throughout the country. Some are mixed, and men and women must bathe without clothes, although many others have separate areas for each gender. Be that as it may, nudity in the onsen has no intimate connotations, but is seen as an act of purification and connection with nature. One of the best areas to enjoy onsen is the region surrounding Mount Fuji, especially around the 5 Fuji lakes, an essential stop on a trip to Japan. Mount Fuji is Japan's highest mountain and probably its most recognizable natural symbol. 3,777 meters high, it towers majestically over the landscape and has been considered sacred since ancient times. Its almost perfect conical shape has inspired poets, artists, and travelers for centuries, and it is revered as one of the country's 3 sacred mountains, along with Mount Tate and Mount Haku. Every summer, thousands of people undertake the climb to its summit, in a journey that, for many Japanese, is both a physical challenge and a spiritual act. Moreover, Mount Fuji has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since the year 2013, not only for its natural beauty, but also for its enormous cultural significance. Since ancient times, it has been a place of pilgrimage and a symbol of immortality in Japanese tradition. Mount Fuji is also one of more than 100 active volcanoes in the country, making it both an imposing and potentially dangerous presence. Although the last recorded eruption occurred in 1707, volcanic activity remains a constant reminder of the power of nature in Japan. In fact, Japan is home to nearly 10% of all active volcanoes in the world, making the archipelago a land in constant transformation, where nature can be as destructive as it is beautiful. This large number of active volcanoes has favored the presence of natural hot springs, which are harnessed in the onsen you have come to know. Among the most popular places to contemplate Mount Fuji and relax in hot springs is the town of Hakone, located in Kanagawa Prefecture. This destination, famous for its traditional onsen and panoramic views of Mount Fuji, is located just over 80 kilometers from Tokyo and is easily accessible by train. This picturesque place combines tradition with modern touches and is home to some of the most charming ryokan, or old Japanese houses, in the country. In addition to traditional onsen, Hakone offers unique experiences such as the Unisun Spa Resort, a themed spa where visitors can bathe in pools of coffee, wine, or even ramen broth. Diving into a pool filled with steaming red wine or coffee may seem like an eccentricity, but for many tourists, it is a fun and memorable experience. This experience, along with sleeping in a ryokan, the mythical old Japanese houses, on a tatami mat after a hot spring bath, is one of the best ways to savor Japan. Thinking about savoring Japan, it is essential to know some of its most appetizing and desired dishes, which have crossed borders and have become authentic emblems of world gastronomy. Among them, ramen stands out, a noodle soup that has evolved to become a cult delicacy, with regional recipes that vary from light broths to more dense and spicy versions. Small taverns and restaurants specializing in this dish, which combines tradition and creativity in every bowl, can be found in every corner of Japan. Another gastronomic treasure is Kobe beef, famous for its extraordinary tenderness and flavor. This meat comes from Wagyu cows, raised under strict care in Hyogo Prefecture, where they are given an almost ritualistic treatment. Their feeding is controlled to the millimeter, and it is even said that they receive massages to ensure their tenderness. The result is meat that practically melts in the mouth, a luxury reserved for the most demanding palates. While it is possible to find Kobe beef dishes in luxury restaurants outside Japan, tasting it in its place of origin is an incomparable experience. Prices vary depending on the cut and the restaurant, but in general, a dish can cost between $120 and $300, while a high-quality steak can reach prices of up to $500 or more. But if there is one dish that symbolizes Japan around the world, it is sushi. Although it is possible to find sushi anywhere in the world, the experience of tasting it in Japan, where the itamae masters take care of every detail, is unique. One of the best places to live this experience is the Toyosu Market in Tokyo, where tuna auctions are held daily, attracting chefs from all over the world. Restaurants located inside the market, such as Sushi Dai or Daiwa Sushi, offer sushi prepared with freshly auctioned fish, guaranteeing unbeatable freshness. Another must-visit place is the old Nishiki Market in Kyoto, known as the Kyoto Kitchen. Here you can taste sushi made with more traditional techniques, such as pressed mackerel sushi, a local specialty that preserves the essence of the ancient Japanese capital. If you prefer a more sophisticated experience, the Ginza district, also in Tokyo, is home to some of the most exclusive sushi restaurants in the world. Among them, Sukiyabashi Jiro, run by legendary chef Jiro Ono, stands out. With 3 Michelin stars and a worldwide reputation thanks to the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi, this restaurant offers a menu that can exceed $300 per person. But thinking about this delicacy, luxury, and controversial experiences, the time has come to know one of the most surprising realities both in Japan and in the world: the possibility of tasting it directly on the naked body of a woman or man. In Japan, this possibility exists and is called differently if it is served on women or men. Its name is nyotai mori when served on women, while on men it is called nantai mori. Although it is a controversial tradition that has generated debates about ethics and respect, the truth is that it is still possible to find places in this country where this experience is offered. Participants are considered human dishes and must undergo strict hygiene protocols prior to the event, including special baths and body treatments to ensure that the sushi is kept in optimal conditions. This practice, which emerged as a form of entertainment for the elite during the feudal era, has been adopted by some upscale restaurants and private events in cities such as Tokyo and Osaka. Prices to participate in a Nyotai Mori experience can range from $500 to $1,500, depending on the location and the exclusivity of the event. Although the concept may seem strange or even shocking, those who defend it assure that it is not a sexualized experience, but a ritual that combines art and gastronomy, where homage is paid to both the beauty of the human body and the tradition of sushi. At this point in the video, it probably sounds strange to bathe in coffee or wine, with or without many clothes, or to eat sushi paying thousands of dollars on people without clothes. But you'll probably find it even stranger that someone would pay a lot of money to try the most dangerous food in the world and put their life at risk. We're talking about pufferfish, known in Japan as fugu, a delicacy that can be lethal if not prepared correctly. Fugu contains tetrodotoxin, a poison 100 times more deadly than cyanide. This toxin is found in various parts of the fish, such as the liver, ovaries, and skin. Taking all this into account, if a person ingests a small portion of tetrodotoxin, the poison paralyzes the nervous system, causing asphyxiation and death within hours. There is no antidote, so time is against anyone who has made the mistake of consuming a poisonous part of this fish. Death from fugu poisoning is silent and terrifying, as the victim remains conscious while his body slowly becomes paralyzed. Before venturing out to taste this exquisite and potentially lethal delicacy, diners should be fully informed about the risks involved. In most restaurants that serve fugu, they are required to sign a series of legal documents that release the establishment from liability in the event of poisoning. In addition, customers should have a clear understanding of the risks involved in this culinary experience. To cook fugu, chefs must obtain a special license after completing years of rigorous training. Only the most experienced chefs are allowed to cut and serve this fish, ensuring that the poisonous parts are completely removed. Despite the risks, fugu is highly prized in Japan, especially at festivities and exclusive dinners, where it is served raw in thin slices as sashimi or in hot stews. Despite rigorous regulations and specialized training for chefs, fugu consumption is not without risk. According to Japanese government data, between 1996 and 2006, there were 20 to 44 annual incidents of fugu poisoning in Japan, with an average mortality rate of 7%. Despite the associated dangers, people are willing to eat fugu at a high price, not only in health but also in money, which depends on the restaurant and the expertise of the chef. In high-class restaurants, a meal with fugu can cost several $100s, which makes this dish a luxury reserved for the most adventurous. The main cities for tasting this delicacy are Osaka and Tokyo, where some restaurants offer complete menus dedicated to the pufferfish. The question many people ask themselves is, why risk your life for a dish? For the Japanese, fugu symbolizes the confidence and skill of the chef, as well as the courage of the diner. Eating fugu is an experience that defies the limits between life and death, an almost mystical ritual that many tourists also wish to experience, although always under strict security measures. Thinking about all this, we take the opportunity to ask you, would you dare to eat fugu, or would you prefer to enjoy Kobe beef or sushi on people without clothes? Pause the video and leave us your comment. We will love to read you and know that doing so is the best way you have to support Uncensored World. So we keep working every week to bring you interesting content like this. So thank you. Getting back to the topic of food in Japan, it's interesting to know some of the customs and etiquette that define life in this country. For example, tipping is not allowed in Japan, something that may come as a surprise to tourists. Unlike other places where tipping is seen as a form of recognition for good service, in Japan, tipping is considered disrespectful. The Japanese see their job as a duty, and tipping could be interpreted as an insinuation that the service was not satisfactory. That is why it is normal to see a waiter chasing you if you forget your change, as he will think it was an unintentional mistake. Another relevant aspect of Japanese etiquette is the way personal hygiene is handled in public. In this country, blowing your nose in public is considered a repulsive act, so if you are traveling here and need to blow your nose, it is best to do it in a bathroom or in the privacy of your home. For most Japanese, this act is not only seen as impolite, but is a behavior they avoid at all costs in public spaces. This respect for others and consideration for the smallest details is a key characteristic of Japanese culture. When eating, Japan also has specific rules that might seem surprising to those unfamiliar with them. It is considered impolite, for example, to eat directly from common dishes, so the correct thing to do is to take some food and put it on your own plate before eating. Also, during dinners, you should never pour your own drink. It is a gesture of courtesy and respect to serve someone else's drink, and it is also expected that someone else will refill your glass when it is empty. The use of chopsticks is also governed by strict rules. They should never be used for pointing or playing with them, and they should never be placed on plates, as this is considered disrespectful. Moreover, in this country, pointing with the finger is absolutely frowned upon. Instead of using your finger to point, you are expected to use your open hand or even a verbal gesture to indicate something. This cultural difference reflects the respect for personal space and the desire to avoid any kind of confrontation or threatening gesture. Another aspect that surprises tourists in particular is that when you enter a restaurant, you may be greeted with an enthusiastic "irashaimase," a greeting that shows hospitality, but you are not expected to respond. And when you leave, the staff will probably see you off with a warm "arigatou gozaimasu," a thank you that highlights the value they place on courtesy and mutual respect in Japanese society. As for the greeting, the bow is a characteristic Japanese gesture in which a slight forward bend is made without joining hands, as in other cultures, such as Thai. Although it is also possible to shake hands, doing so while bowing can be awkward and is best avoided. These kinds of traditions demonstrate the importance of nonverbal gestures in social interactions in Japan. These ways of life, coupled with Japan's amazing traditions, relaxing spas, and fascinating atmosphere, have a lot to do with the fact that there is a mysterious island that seems to hold a secret that the whole world should know about. This island, called Okinawa, is home to the highest concentration of people who are over 100 years old, a fact that attracts the curiosity of scientists from all over the world. The key to this longevity seems to be linked to what is known as the Blue Zone, a region famous for its astonishing rate of centenarians. In Okinawa, residents follow a diet known as the Blue Diet, rich in fresh, natural foods such as tofu, fish, green leafy vegetables, and sweet potatoes, which are rich in essential nutrients. This diet, along with a lifestyle focused on consistent physical activity, a strong sense of community, and a positive mindset towards aging, form a set of factors that contribute significantly to the remarkable longevity of its inhabitants. Before delving into how to get to and enjoy Japan, it is important to know some of its more controversial realities that arouse curiosity worldwide. Among them are the so-called love hotels, hotels specialized in offering private and themed rooms for couples. These hotels allow users to enjoy an intimate space for short periods of time, without the need to make a prior reservation. Although their existence may come as a surprise to those unfamiliar with Japanese culture, love hotels are a reflection of a society that, despite their conservative appearance, maintains a practical and functional approach to privacy and personal relationships. One of the most notable features of these love hotels is the wide variety of themes they offer. From rooms decorated with fantasy themes to more futuristic environments, these hotels offer a unique experience where visitors can escape from the daily routine and enjoy a space just for them. In addition, the prices are usually affordable, which facilitates access for both locals and tourists. although in many countries this type of establishments could be considered taboo. In Japan, they are part of everyday life and one more option among the many accommodation alternatives. Love hotels in Japan, with their wide variety of themed and private rooms, may seem a contradiction to the reserved and disciplined nature of Japanese society. Although in many ways Japan is known for its strict social norms and restrained behavior, this phenomenon reflects a different reality. The freedom offered by love hotels, a private space to explore intimacy without judgment, contrasts with the cultural reluctance to talk openly about sex. This discrepancy contributes to one of the country's most troubling problems: the extremely low birth rate. Japan is losing population at an alarming rate because many young people are so focused on their careers that they show no interest in starting a family. In addition, romantic relationships are becoming less important to the younger generation, further aggravating the situation. In fact, some studies show that a growing number of young Japanese have no interest in getting married or having children. This phenomenon is related to the growing tendency of many Japanese to avoid traditional family ties. In a country where social norms are extremely rigorous, the space for genuine personal relationships seems to have shrunk, which has led to the creation of services such as matchmaking. Strange as it may seem in this country, you can rent a boyfriend or girlfriend. This surprising and somewhat unusual custom is a way of meeting the need for affection and companionship in an increasingly lonely society. In some establishments, Japanese people can hire someone to be their boyfriend or girlfriend for a day, giving them the experience of a relationship without the traditional commitments. There are even places where customers can enjoy a hug if they need affection, or even services where they can walk animals, chat with elderly people to receive words of wisdom, or share a meal with stuffed animals. In some cases, it is even common to see people walking dolls as if they were real or dining with plush figures. But there is probably an even more controversial phenomenon known as burusera, which refers to the sale of used underwear, especially among young people. Although it originated as a fringe subculture, burusera has gained notoriety in recent years, especially in certain urban areas, and has been widely publicized in the media. The garments, generally acquired through online stores or in specialized stores, are seen as a kind of fetish in some subcultures, although their practice is surrounded by controversy. This reality highlights aspects of intimate relationships and privacy in Japan that are often misunderstood by tourists and foreigners. Both phenomena, love hotels, bridal rentals, and burusera, reveal a part of Japanese culture that can be difficult to understand from a Western perspective. However, they are only a small part of the many complex social norms and traditions of this incredible country, probably the most extraordinary on the planet. As you have seen, Japan is a place where social norms and expectations may seem rigid, but it also offers a curious freedom to explore taboo subjects in a way that is unique in the world. These lesser-known aspects are part of the mystery that makes Japan such an intriguing and surprising destination. We come to the end of this trip, and before concluding, we have decided to summarize what is the best way to discover Japan without the cost of the visit leaving you without savings. Despite Japan's reputation as an expensive destination, in recent years, thanks to the fall in the value of the yen, the country has become more accessible to international travelers, which has led to greater financial flexibility when planning your trip. If you are looking for a way to get to Japan, the most common way is to fly into one of its major international airports, such as Narita International Airport in Tokyo or Kansai International Airport in Osaka. From there, you can take domestic flights or use the extensive train and bus system to move between major cities. One of the most convenient and efficient ways to get around Japan is to use the Japan Rail Pass, JR Pass, an economical option for tourists who wish to travel between several cities. This pass offers unlimited access to the high-speed Shinkansen and other JR trains for a set period of time, making it easy to travel around the country without having to worry about buying individual tickets. The JR Pass is especially useful for touring some of Japan's most iconic cities, such as Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and Hiroshima, and will allow you to discover natural and cultural sites that are otherwise inaccessible. If you are on a tight budget, this pass also helps make your travels much more cost-effective. In terms of in-country costs, Japan is considered a mid-range destination, albeit with a few tricks to make travel more affordable. The price of a private hotel room in a city like Tokyo or Kyoto can range from $50 to $120 per night, depending on the location and category of accommodation. As for food, a dinner for two at a traditional Japanese restaurant can cost you around $50 to $90, while at a more modest restaurant or ramen stand, you could enjoy a meal for as little as $15 to $30. As for drinks, the cost of a beer at a bar is usually between $3 to $5, while a coffee at a local coffee shop is priced at around $2 to $4. While Japan is a destination that can be expensive, there are affordable options for those who want to enjoy its beauty and culture without spending too much. And with the yen at its lowest in recent years, it is possible to get the most bang for your buck and experience all that the country has to offer. By utilizing resources such as the JR Pass, public transportation, and meals at lower-budget restaurants, you can enjoy a full Japanese experience without breaking your budget. From Uncensored World, we hope this video has helped you discover Japan, as you have seen, one of the most fascinating and amazing countries on the planet. If so, don't hesitate to leave us a nice like and a comment. It's the best way to help us to keep working every week to bring you interesting content like this. Or like this video that you can watch now, to discover another of the most mysterious and beautiful corners of the planet. Click on it, you will enjoy it.